Yeah.
I have a question for Stunt Brain. It's non-sports related.
Oh.
Is the SEC a government-run agency?
Yeah. Well, it's the licensee of the Securities and Exchange Commission. I believe it is government-run.
Because this guy, this independent guy, is saying that he has been warning them about Bernie Madoff for years.
Yeah, over a decade.
How is the government bailing out all these banks and not bailing out these investors when they're the arm of their watchdog group, who's a member of their God Almighty, this is what happens when a dummy discusses Wall Street. An arm of the government like that, whose job it is to protect investors. How are they not being held financially responsible for the people he raped and ruined financially? How is that?
They've been getting away with murder down there.
But how are people not getting back $150,000 when that's all they had and they lost it to the scumbag?
Yeah, that's a tough decision to make, that you're going to start reimbursing investors for getting into fraudulent.
Only
because it's supposed to be government supervised.
And the SEC has been warned so many times. They were warned in Boston, New York. They were warned multiple times, and they did nothing.
Well, you wonder if it's going to fall into the same situation as a failed bank with a limit on it of how much money you can recoup. Because, the limit on your bank stuff is $200,000 right now.
But it's amazing. If there's something illegal going on and you profit, the government doesn't limit how much they can go back and take back from you.
That's right.
So, and then they don't limit that. They don't limit how much you can lose in the stock market, but they limit how much you can write off on losses, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they don't limit how much they can tax if you gain.
Absolutely.
So they're just scumbags. They constantly have it rigged.
Yeah.
How are they not? How are they not?
Exactly. They have it rigged.
But I'm not saying they're responsible for bad investments. But when the SEC has been warned time and time and time again over a 10-year period, and they blow it every time, the government should be responsible for that.
You might be able to file a suit against them that they were, as an investor, a suit. And
Good luck.
Not against Madoff, but against the actual SEC.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Maybe you can't. I don't know. Suing the government is one of those tricky things, but
they've been getting away with murder down there.
Yeah,
it'll get better from this day on, but it doesn't help the people that got screwed.
It should.
Did you see your statement?
Up or down?
It was flat.
All right, good.
I was amazed.
Good.
I don't know what kind of magic old Barry's doing, but Jesus Christ.
For once, we did the right thing. So many people try to get their just grubby little hands on me.
Mitts.
And everyone's like, I don't understand why you don't invest more. I'm like, I just had a weird feeling.
Yeah.
And if I did invest the way some of these guys really wanted me to, and supposedly they were trustworthy, there wasn't boiler room crap, I would have been murdered.
Dude, I got to tell you about.
We still took a hit, but not as bad as some of these other guys out there.
The Bank of America calls me like crazy.
But they all do.
Have me invest with them.
Yeah.
So months ago, maybe even over a year ago, about a year ago. I go in and I talk with this guy, and he's trying to sell me on equities and just buying stocks like crazy. And I'm telling him, look, I'm a safe guy. Mm-hmm. I don't want high risk. I don't need a high risk portfolio. I need something that's going to be steady growth, blue chips, just things like that.
I'm raising my hand.
Yes.
Why can't you live like that in your personal life? Anthony Cumia, go.
I do. I really do.
You're talking about safe, no risk.
Oh, I understand. Yeah. Well, I need some risk somewhere. We all need our vices. We all have our vices, and mine.
If your personal life was a portfolio, wow,
I'd be a safe guy.
Wow.
No, but if your portfolio was your personal life, you would have invested everything you had in an experimental drug that cured hangnails.
Right. Oh my God. You'd be on the street crying. You'd be down there in the Bowery, even though that's old school stuff.
A bum.
You'd be a bum.
A bum.
Well, what'd they say at Bank of America?
I talked to this guy. I talked to this guy for over an hour, and he was just one of these, and I could spot him a mile away. One of these shady, just trying to get the commission kind of a guy. So I talked to them, told him what I wanted. He goes, okay, come back next week. We made an appointment. He goes, I'll have a whole thing laid out for you that shows, exactly what you've been talking about and we've been talking about. This guy didn't listen to a word I said. I came back a week later. He pulls out this all these speculative sheets of what I should be in and stuff, and it's all stocks, high risk, and I looked at him and go, I said to him, I go, did you listen to a word I said? I go, look what you have me in.
You should have tracked that stuff to see where you'd be at.
Well,
today.
he was telling me, he goes,
oh, wow.
He goes, you want to know where the Dow's going to be in a year?
Uh-huh.
He goes, you want to know?
Please say 10,000.
10, dude. He goes, I'll tell you right now, you're looking at 15,000 for the Dow. 15,000.
Are we?
And I go, if you could predict that, why are you sitting in that seat?
Right.
I tell him that. Why are you sitting in that seat?
Exactly.
I go, there's no way. And the Dow was over 10, and it was on, an upswing. Everybody was feeling pretty good about things. But I'm not the high-risk investment guy. And he did. The point was, he didn't listen to a word I said.
None of them do.
So I did it as a courtesy.
Because they got their own agenda.
Because I'm always going to stick with Barry. So I just did this as a courtesy and to stop him from calling me. Every day he was calling me. So I'm like, all right, I'll see what this guy has to say. You know what he said? Nothing. He was trying to swindle me like these asses you read about in the paper. So go screw. I hope your clients got taken, and I hope they were stupid enough to listen to you.
Yeah.
And now you either got fired or one of them choked you.
Let me get into this. Barry. Love him too. But his bedside manner stinks. He's the most boring guy I've ever met in my life, which probably is a good thing. That means he's focusing on just dumb stuff.
Yes.
So he doesn't fill that brain with actual stuff that could be fun to talk about.
Dude.
But, I'm now married. Most people know that, and life insurance and all that, and wills. And his scenarios, he came over one day with me and my young new wife. Well, let's just say that Greg is driving to Long Island and dies in a fiery car wreck.
Or a frostbite.
Right. Right. Thank you, Jim. But let's just say, here's the scenario.
A fiery wreck could eat up your wife.
Right. Here's the scenario I lay out for you. He's driving home to Long Island to visit his family, and his car explodes, and he's trapped in the car, and he's burning. And I'm like, what are you doing?
The skin is bubbling off his body as he's clawing at the closed window.
Right.
You're like, Barry, do we have to do that? I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's Barry. I know talking about life insurance and wills is just a creepy subject for anyone. So you make it very basic.
Yes.
But he gives you scenarios. Well, let's say he all of a sudden spots something on his skin, and a year later he's down to 45 pounds and he's in a hospice.
Dude, he comes over to my house and does the same thing. He's morbid. Yes. He's a morbid guy.
I think he'll
sit down, and I don't mind talking about my investments. He's very concise about showing you where your money is going. He's very good. He's very good at what he does. He keeps his eye open as far as politics goes, so he knows politically how that's going to affect finances, and accordingly he'll work your stocks.
He's like the businessman. Does he invest for you, or is he the guy that oversees the investors? Like, he'll deal with the brokers and stuff like that.
He'll invest. He'll take your money and alter where it goes, but keeping in mind that you want to be conservative. Yeah. You want like we work through charts and everything where I want my money in these types of investments.
That's very safe.
So very safe. So he'll put him around in similar things, but he'll move stuff around if he sees something on the horizon coming up. But he'll sit there, and I don't mind going through the business end of it, but then he'll be like, and not even about me. He'll just be, I have this client, can't say his name, but he lost both of his legs in an industrial accident. Yeah. And he just didn't have the insurance. Yeah. And I'm sitting there going, I don't want to hear this.
He did say another scenario. He goes, Greg makes his living using his voice. It's not far-fetched to get, throat cancer.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Shut up.
Shut the F up. All right, we'll get a will and some life insurance, you idiot. Oh. We all understand that, that something's going to happen to all of us eventually.
He comes to the door with a hood over his head and a sickle.
Right. And by the way, everyone dies horrififically.
Some people die what they love.
Everyone,
like the skydiver.
Everyone dies a horrific death. I've been reading this book on all these very famous people, and then their story always turns to how they died, and it was tragically. We all die tragically. Maybe a very, very tiny percent of us could live to a ripe old age with not many medical issues, and you die at your summer home with the summer breeze coming in the window with your family around. But the rest of us, we will die horrifically.
With that, yeah.
That is just the reality of living a life.
Yeah.